What is going on, everybody? My name is Will from Ghost Hack, and today we are moving forward with the series of how to start a trap track. This is episode 4, and we are actually going to be working on the intro. Now, in the previous episodes, we did drums, we did basses and leads, we did background layers, and we created this drop right here, which I think sounds pretty decent. May make some changes along the way. A track is always a work in progress, but today we're mainly going to be focused on the intro. But before we begin, here is what we have so far. Okay, so listening to that, I have some ideas about what I want to do for the intro, and I think I want to make it a little more epic. I want to incorporate maybe some orchestral elements in here, along with other kind of classic trap hip hop beats, because I have these brass hits, which sound very, very nice. I may layer those with maybe some like violins or maybe piano, but I wanna do something like that. So what I have here is 16 bars of intro, and how this is going to be laid out, this is going to be very similar to the dubstep course, where I have the first 8 bars going to be for actual intro, and then the second 8 bars of this 16 bar bit is going to be for the build up. And once I make the intro, I may add a little something in the beginning, maybe something just rise up or just start off the song, but for right now, I think I'm just gonna need the 8 bars. All right, so I have the brass and the cymbal just carried over here, and I'm just gonna create a basic trap beat. Okay, so we just take a basic kick snare pattern, and we build from that. This kick and snare are both samples from the Urban Trap pack from Ghost Hack, so I think I'm actually going to take a hi-hat loop from that pack as well, just to make it go a little quicker. So I just took this one right here, and I slowed it down using the stretch mode right here and fit it to the tempo. And I also grabbed this one right here to layer with it. So now we have some hi-hat loops to go with this drum beat. Of course, we do have to lay down the sidechain triggers. Okay, that sounds all well and cool. However, I don't know if I want to unleash the brass in its full intensity until the drop. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put on an EQ. I'm going to cut the low and the high end, and then I'm going to just dry wet it in and out. So this EQ is completely turned off when the drop comes, and then the EQ is turned on during this section right here, just to make the brass not quite as strong. You can hear the difference with the EQ, without the EQ. Alright, the next thing I'm going to add is actually strings, like really high violin strings. However, I'm actually going to use Serum for this because I have a lead here that sounds like synth strings. If you want to know how to create this, we have a tutorial on our YouTube channel about how to create synth strings exactly like this. But we are in the key of F, so I'm just going to go ahead and make a new pattern with these. Actually, instead, what I decided to do was resample it. So now I can manually make it a little bit shorter if I wanted to. Like, I just want to go out a little bit. Like that. This was very hard to do in the preset, seeing as the majority of the sound quality actually came from the reverb, and the reverb tail had to be a long length. But it solves simply enough. I just have to resample it. Alright, so all I wanted was this pattern right here. That's all I wanted, and now it can layer over the drum beat. And with the strings, everything sounds like this. The next thing we're going to add is an 808. However, it's definitely not going to be as strong as the one we have in the drop. I'm going to choose this one right here, because I think once it'll be distorted, it'll have good frequency range, and it has some nice harmonics in the low end. All right, so for this one, I actually have two different 808s. I have this one, which is actually pretty short, and then a duplicate, which is much longer. It does still fade out. I did still add a fade out. However, in this one, I did not do as fancy enveloping in this section. So together it sounds like this. All right, I think these strings are a little too harsh in the beginning here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do kind of a fade in. All right, I think that works a little better. Also, I dragged over these little hat rolls and this riser. But I'm also going to do some low pass filtering for the riser. So now this first little riser sounds like this. I also threw in this pad. I'm just holding down one note. Needs to be post-processed because I have to take out the bass, but I think it's going to make a really nice layer. Cool. Here's a cymbal right here. A little ding cymbal that I think I'm going to add right on top of this part. Of course, it needs to be turned down. I feel like it just adds a little extra flair. For the next sound, I'm actually going to go into the FL Studio default drums and go into hats and choose 808. Just that right there. I just want a really dry, really basic one so I can do this. But quieter. All right, we are almost done here. We're just about finished. I think I'm just going to add a lead in this intro. And I think the lead is just going to be swelling up this entire time. I don't think it's going to be anything complicated either. I think it's going to be a pretty simple lead with a pretty simple pattern. All right, I have this lead here. This is called Shifting. This is actually from the Chord Smokers Future Bass Serum Presets pack from Ghost Hack, but this is what it sounds like. You hear how it's opening and closing? It's doing that on its own. It's not like I'm not automating anything. It's doing it on its own, which is awesome because when I add in a pattern such as this, it'll literally just do the work for me. I don't have to automate it at all. As you can see down here, I did add a harmony to the second half of the lead. I didn't actually automate anything. I just added like a fifth on top of that. Just all the same notes, up 7 semitones layered on top of each other. And after adding these little reverses every 4 bars, I think that will have to do it for this episode. So here is the little intro that we created today. All right, sounding pretty good so far. In the next episode, we will tackle the build up, and then that will be the completion of this series. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see all of you in the next video. Happy producing.